Welcome to the Call and Response podcast with Krishna Das, a gathering of stories and conversations dedicated to bringing spirituality into our daily lives. Call and Response podcast is an offering of the Kirtan Wallah Foundation, which is devoted to spreading the teachings of Neem Karoli Baba, a great spiritual teacher of India. If you're interested in supporting this podcast and the work of the foundation, please visit kirtanwallahfoundation.org. And please visit krishnadas.com for more offerings like this, including information on Katie's tour and retreats, gifts, online courses, workshops, and more. In 2026, we've updated our digital library to include harmonium tutorials, volumes 1 and 2, fireside stories with Krishna Das, Katie's newest album, Home in the Heart, and much more. This episode is brought to you by Soham Mountain Healing Resort. When life moves too fast, the body and heart begin to whisper for rest. Ayurveda is the science of life, teaching us how to live in balance with our true nature. Soham Mountain Healing Resort offers Ayurvedic Panchakarma detoxification retreats in a calm, supportive environment. You can learn more at sohamhealing.com. and use the code KRISHNADAS PK2026 for $500 off on your Panchakarma retreat. Thanks for listening.
My conversations are usually not recorded, probably for good reason. Someone once asked Maharaji, isn't it hypocritical to worship God when you are not sincere in your devotion? Well, that's a good question, because who's really sincere, right? So many people come and talk to me and share their issues with me and problems on the path. And I always say, you have the longing, and you know what you're looking for. And the longing, on one hand, it ruins your life. And on the other hand, it saves your life at the same time. You know, Maharaji said in Hindi, Ram Naam Karne Se Sab Pura Ho Jata Hai. From going on repeating these names, which we've been doing, everything is accomplished. That's like ridiculous. And first of all, this is a person who knows what he's talking about. Okay? And he just gave us a guarantee. Do this, and then that happens. Do we do it? Yeah, between serial killer murder mysteries. Sometimes. Yeah, that's our karmas. We can't do what we can't do. We can't see what we can't see. And we can't feel what we can't feel. But the great beings who know tell us that if we do this, then that will happen. But you know, this is New York. We don't give a shit about anything. But that doesn't mean it's not true. Every time we do something or think something or act in one way or another, we plant a seed that will grow and bring fruit. Wouldn't it be nice to plant the seeds of the things we want, the things we would like to have? But if we go along blindly reacting to every little thing that happens to us, then we're not planting seeds of any kind of happiness or love at all. So sooner or later we have to kind of try to take some responsibility for the way we go through the day. We can't change the way other people are. I'm not even sure if we can change the way we are. But at least that's a place to start. Like my friend Robert Svoboda says, if you don't deal with reality, it will deal with you. And that's very true. So while we seem to be semi-conscious and seem to be alive and seem to have some agency over how we go through the day, maybe we should try to clean our shit up a little bit. Because if we don't do it, it's not going to get done. Every repetition of the name is a seed that we plant in our own hearts. And since all of our hearts are connected and actually one, it's the best thing we can do at any time, for anyone, anywhere. Maybe if I keep cursing, everybody will leave. No? Okay. So yeah, thank you. You got to do something, you know. I mean, there was one of those bhajans that says, I was caught in the rapids, helplessly heading towards the waterfalls. And on the shore, I saw the Guru, and the Guru brought me to the shore and saved me. But if we're not looking, we're not going to see anything. We have to find some space in our daily lives to slow down a little bit. Take some time to just feel where we're at. I mean, forget about meditation. It would just be nice to slow down a little bit, wouldn't it? But we sit down, okay, now I'm going to meditate. And you immediately get tense. So no meditation is going to happen. Maharaji said, if you bring your mind to one point, you'll see God. Being God, that's a whole other thing. But I can't get my mind to, I can't even see the point where it is. And I've been pretending to do this shit for so long. What to do? You got to deal with the cards you've been dealt with. You got to play with those cards. So yeah, something every day. Got to do something every day. I don't care what it is. Just sit down for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is enough for you to notice that you're not there. And if you notice you're not there, you're there. But it's very important to notice. And it's a big thing to notice, because we spend all day long completely lost in our daydreams. Me, 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 all day long. So, but it's hard to overcome the programming. It really is. There's no question about it. So many programs are running from our childhood, from the place we grew up, the people we met, the teachers we had. So many programs. But even inside of all those programs, we're here. And we can inflate that presence. Because every repetition of the name does that. It brings us back to ourselves for just a millisecond. Yeah, okay. Let's do some Q&A. That'll save me from my own mind.
What was your favorite part of your recent trip to India? It looked like it was feature rich?
My favorite part was that there was always a bathroom when I had to poop.
Come on. I'm not accepting that.
Have you been to India?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Then?
Now I understand.
Okay.
You're right. And you brought toilet paper. Yeah. So.
Well, you know, really the most amazing part was the chanting with the people there. It was so incredible. I think they think I'm Bruce Springsteen.
Good.
And that's fine with me. Yeah.
Well.
So, yeah, the chanting was so wonderful. And, you know, the feeling was like they owned me, you know what I mean? They were yelling out things they wanted to hear. I would say, shut the fuck up. They would just laugh, you know? It was like, hello, what's going on here, you know? It was so sweet. It was really wonderful. Yeah. Well, some cranky classical musician wrote something in a paper down in Mumbai, I think. Why do all these Indian people, what's wrong with them going to hear like this Westerner sing, you know? That's classical musicians, you know. Just jealous. Hey.
Hey, could you talk a little bit about Bhagwan Das and his connection, you know, bringing Ram Dass and Richard Albert, you know, to Neem Karoli Baba, and, you know, just your experiences of him. I read his biography recently. It's crackers. I mean, it's so crazy.
Yeah. Well, I read his book and I said to him, yeah, I really learned something. He said, oh, yeah, what? I said, I didn't know you were enlightened. Bhagwan Das is a wonderful character. He'd been in India already. There's a lot of feedback up here. I don't know what's going on. What's going on with this feedback? He's really incredible. He lived in India for 7 years. And just wandering around, being like a sadhu. And Ram Dass met him up in Kathmandu, and Bhagwan Das hustled him to drive him down to see Maharaji so he could get his visa extended, because he was getting thrown out of India and he had to get an extension on his visa. So he got Ram Dass to drive him down in this Land Rover that Ram Dass was taking care of. And that's what led to this moment, you know. So we have a tremendous debt of gratitude to him for hustling Ram Dass. And yeah, I haven't seen much of him in the last many years, but yeah, don't know much more about it right now, what he's doing. I hear he lives somewhere in the Midwest, but I don't know what he's doing. He had a bad car accident some years ago. I think he's recovered now. So, next.
Hi, KD.
Hi.
You and Nina and Elizabeth Ambika and the band are my daily spiritual companions. I would hate myself if I didn't say that.
A little closer to the mic, please.
Sure. When Ram Dass first encountered the Hanuman Chalisa, he said he thought it would be too complex for Westerners.
Uh-huh.
Now you do events where...
He was obviously right.
But now, you know, all these years later, you do events where invariably someone in the back of the room yells out, "Play the Hanuman Chalisa."
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to get your take on what has happened over this span of years.
Well, proves he wasn't right about everything. You know, the Hanuman Chalisa was given to us by Maharaji in his own way. In other words, he never said, learn this. But we saw that the Indian people treated him as Hanuman and sang to him. And we wanted to get more time with him. So we figured if we learned this, then we could sing it to him and we'd be able to spend more time. And that's what happened. Maharaji said every line of the Hanuman Chalisa is Mahamantra, the name, and that it can remove obstacles and change fate. And it's a gift that he gave us, a way of connecting to the deepest reality. And it is hard to learn. It's 40 verses. It takes some dedication, but it's not that complicated. There's another chant to Hanuman called the Bajrangban, which means the arrow of Hanuman, the weapon of Hanuman. And Siddhima had told Ramdas that if he learned that, he would be able to walk again. So I recorded it for him, and line by line, word by word. But he couldn't, he was conflicted actually about it. He tried to learn it, but after the stroke, his mind wasn't really working that well. And he also was in this place of being okay with what was happening. He was okay with the stroke. He accepted it as his karma, not as Maharaj is doing, but as his karma. You know that when he first had the stroke, he said, this is fierce grace. Maharaji gave me the stroke. This is fierce grace. But when he went to India, the only time after the stroke, Siddhima immediately said to him, Ramdas, Maharaji didn't give you the stroke. He would never do that. The stroke is your karma. What Maharaji gives us is the strength to overcome the negative effects of that karma and the blessings and the grace to do that. And Ramdas did that. In the old days, in those early days with Maharaji, in the early 70s with the Westerners there, Ramdas basically hated the other Westerners because we had stolen Maharaji away from him. He had them all to himself, and then he couldn't shut up, and then all of us came, So he had to share Maharaji with us. So one day, Maharaji had said to Ramdas, Ramdas, you're a saint. You shouldn't touch money. So Ramdas gave his money to Lakshman Raghu's brother to be his bagman, buy him tickets and food, etc. And then he said, you shouldn't drive. Give him the keys. That was me. So I got the keys to the car, and I got my first name, Driver. I thought, that's pretty cool, yeah. So then one day, Ramdas wakes up in Nainital, which in those days we were still staying in the town. And all the Westerners had left. I had driven the bus loaded with like 20 people hanging off the Volkswagen bus. And he wakes up alone in Nainital with no money, no car, and he was pissed. So he had to walk to the temple over the mountains. It was like 4-hour walk, 3.5, 4 hours. And he's fuming the whole way. And he walks in the temple, and one of the guys he hated the most, stood up and handed him a plate of food. We being fed in the courtyard. Maharaj is sitting there, and we're sitting on the other side of the courtyard, and they're giving us prasad. So this guy stands up and gives Ramdas a plate of food. Ramdas takes the food and throws it in the guy's face. Maharaji goes, Ramdas, something wrong? So come here. So he goes and sits down. What's wrong? Ram Dass says, I can't stand impurity in other people, and I can't stand it in myself. So Maharaj looks him up and down a few times, and he says, I don't see any impurity. So Ram Dass starts to cry. And Maharaj says, Ram Dass, love everyone and tell the truth. So Ram Dass says, the truth is, I don't love everyone. Maharaj moved closer, nose to nose, eye to eye. Ram Dass, love everyone and tell the truth. So, by the end of his life, that's the state he was in. It was so extraordinarily beautiful. Really, it was so beautiful. The truth was, he really was in that love with everyone. It was so beautiful. But it took him a long time. And he used to say, you know, the stroke saved me. He said, the stroke saved my life. Because there was a core of stuff in there that he just couldn't get to. And maybe none of us can get to it, but with him, because of his being kind of an older being, in a sense, that core was holding him back. But the stroke just blew it up. It blew it up, and he didn't have any time off. You know, 24/7, 365. He's in that chair. He's in pain. He's got diabetic neuropathy. He can't move. He can't this. He couldn't, you know. But he surrendered fully, almost fully, 99%. One time, he used to go into the water on Monday mornings. They used to go down to the beach, and he'd go out in these floats, you know, with these tubes and float in the water. And it was the only time he could be free of the weight of his body, you know. So I usually caught up with him a little later because I don't get up so early. So I'm walking down to the beach, and I see in the corner of the parking lot, he's sitting alone in a car, and the door is open to the car, and he's just sitting there. So I walk over, and he's fuming. He's just like... So I just stood there, and he looks at me, and he says, I'm a fake, and you're a fake too. So I looked at him and I said, yeah, but we're real fakes. He almost fell out of the car laughing so hard. We had a lot of fun together. But really, by the end of his life, he was so deep into it. It was so beautiful. So sometimes, you know, we don't know what we have to go through. We don't know why we're going through it. But we have to get through it the best we can. And so let's try to have some gratitude for even being semi-conscious about who we are and what we're doing and what we have, you know. Because most of us have it pretty easy, despite all the emotional bullshit, which we all have. So, most of us. Some of us really are paying a lot of... I have a very dear friend who's very, 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 very ill. Just what she goes through in 10 minutes, I don't think I'll go through in 20 lifetimes. And but she knows, she really knows that she's burning off a lot of negative karmas. And she's okay with it. She's so okay with it, sometimes it pisses me off. But she's really okay with it. And it's extraordinary, the inner strength that she has to get through the day and not give up. Whoa. It's amazing. So, you know, all we can do is the best we can do. Yeah.
Hi. You talked a lot about just now being okay with what we're going through, what's happening, and
I lie.
and I think obviously that takes a great deal of surrender. I tend to have control issues, with God, the universe, etc. when it comes to, hey, where's my car, or where's my new job or something. Do you have like a how-to guide to surrender for someone that might have a control issue, perhaps a little bit?
Get over it. Look around, girl. What are you controlling? Nothing. Absolutely, not even your thoughts, which is like the deepest thing that you're aware of right now, right? So just recognize it. Recognize how silly you are all the time, thinking you actually can do something about anything other than letting go and being present and doing the best you can. It's a delusion. We have this delusion, and that prevents us from actually working on ourselves, because when the shit hits the fan, you've got to go through it, and you've got to have the strength and the courage to do the best you can with it. There's no option. So while we're kind of in this comfortable, semi-comfortable state, and life's not that bad, I don't have any major diseases, I have food, we're kind of like, we think we're having issues. Wait till the shit hits the fan. Then you see what issues you have. But in the meantime, you can do some practice, and practice letting go and coming back. Letting go and coming back. Because that's what you'll need. That's what you need now, and that's what you'll need now and later. Because later will be now later. And you'll need this then, later, now. So, good luck.
This episode is brought to you by Soham Mountain Healing Resort.
Well, this place feels like a heaven world, It feels like the land of the medicine Buddha. The treatment's so beautiful, They're so lovely. Everybody's so sweet and so good at what they do. Everybody from the food and the people at the front desk, everybody's so caring and so sweet. And the physical body comes after the mind. The mind and the heart have to be able to heal as well and to relax for that to happen.
You can learn more at sohamhealing.com and use the code KRISHNADAS PK2026 for $500 off on your Panchakarma retreat.
Hi Katie, this is Urvashi, a big fan. Thank you for everything you do, your voice, your existence. And the question I have is, while you're chanting, what is going on in your brain? What are you thinking about? I have thousands of thoughts. I want to know.
Only thousands? Wow.
Millions. I want it to be nice.
Billions, quintuplet billions. It's not my job to know what's going on when I'm chanting. There's me, there's the mantra, and there's me and the mantra. And then there's just the mantra sometimes. And when I notice that I'm not paying attention, then I pay attention. I don't write down what I was thinking about. I don't make mental notes, remember that later. I just come back. And you get the practice coming back more quickly, more easily. But that's what you do. That's what the practice is. You start that repetition going. When you notice you're thinking, you come back. You're already back because you noticed you're not there. So then where are you? You're here. Then you rededicate yourself to the sound of the name. Again, and again, and again, and again, and again, And get the idea?
Yeah.
So that's all.
I'll try that. It's hard, but I'll try.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Katie.
Hi.
I'm curious if you could share a story with us about Dada and the journal entry from the devotee of Anandamaya Ma.
About Dada and?
The journal entry of the devotee of Anandamaya Ma, where Neem Karoli Baba visited them after he passed away.
Oh, that. Yeah. So I was staying in Lucknow with the two artists, and we all went to visit Dada in Allahabad. And so we'd been there for a night or two, I guess, and we were getting ready to go back. And the two artists were in the car when Dada called me in his room. And he pulls out this book. And he says, "You see this book?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "It's written by this Swami, okay? He's a devotee of Anandamaya Ma, okay? And see this picture here? He's actually feeding Krishna, this murti of Krishna, and Krishna's eating the milk or whatever, drinking the milk." I said, "Oh, wow. He's a good Swami, right? Okay." So then he opens the book to like someplace in the middle, and he says, "Read this." So I read, it said, "Mataji Anandamaya Ma and I were traveling around, and we went to visit Neem Karoli Baba in his cave where he was hiding from his devotees. And we spent some time there, and then he came back to Ma's ashram for a few days before returning to his cave. And Dada pointed out that the book was written like in the mid-'80s, okay? And about something that happened in the mid-'80s. So I read this, and then just then Tiwari comes in, and he's all pissed off because they've been sitting in the car. And he said, "What are you doing? We're waiting in the car." I said, "Baba, read this." He read it. "Yeah, so?" They knew each other. I said, "Baba, this was in 1985. "Yeah, so?" I said, "Baba, he died in 73. "Oh." That was that. Then Dada took the book and put it away. So, Siddhima said no one can understand Maharaj's leelas after leaving the body. No one. That if he was even in a body in the first place, I'd be surprised. But it looked like that. But to these people, these beings, it's not like it is for us. It's just different. Like when you go to sleep and you dream at night, doesn't that feel real to you? Hello?
Sometimes, yeah.
Huh?
Sometimes, yeah.
Don't give me that shit.
I know, right?
When you're dreaming at night asleep, you think it's real in your dream.
Yeah.
Right. Hello? This is also a dream. And we think this is real. For them, this is just another dream. And they can come and go. They can come into the past, or what we call the past, or go into the future, what we call the future, or enter this moment, because it's like that. So it's very liquid, very, very malleable from their point of view.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm a little cranky today, I think you can tell. Coffee's not working, I don't know what I'm going to do. Hello.
Could you share teachings about the dying experience, or even after dying, or are there any particular? I never hear teachings about that.
Yeah, well, I really don't know that much about it.
Mm-hmm.
Not having died yet. This life.
You might be my dream.
Uh-huh. There are some really wonderful books about those things and about what it's like. There's a really great book that I read not too long ago called Peaceful Death, Joyous Rebirth. And it's by a beautiful Tibetan Lama who lived in America for a very long time. Tulku Tungdup is his name. And it's about these beings called Delogs in Tibet, which are people, sometimes ordinary people, who die, and they might be dead for like 3 days, 4 days. And then they sit up, and like they're back. And what happens is they go, and they, in this case, they meet the Lord of Death and his attendants. And the Lord of Death has a watch, probably an Apple Watch. And he looks, he says, you're not supposed to be here yet. But since you're here, take a look around, and when you go back, tell people how this works. So it's a very cool book. And he points out that he's describing the Tibetan version of the experience, but in all different cultures they have similar things. So you might enjoy that book. Peaceful Death, Joyous Rebirth.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And there's another really nice book called Graceful Exits, which was written by a woman, she's a student of Tibetan Buddhism, but who had a fatal illness. She was dying, and she went around and collected stories from lamas and other kinds of beings, and collected stories about how these advanced beings actually left the planet, how they left their bodies. A very beautiful book, Graceful Exits. Hey.
Hey, Katie. I'm wondering about the time that you spent with Siddhi, and I'm curious if there are any leelas that come to mind during that time, maybe when you experienced Ma's grace, or if you had times where you felt her love.
She was nothing but love. I mean, that's all there was there. And, of course, all kinds of wisdom. I remember one time Arjun, I always get this wrong, but I have the gist of it right. There's a line in the Hanuman Chalisa that says, Antakala Lagubara Purajai Jahan Jan Mahariba. When you die, you go to Ram's abode, where you get born as a devotee of Ram. So Arjun said to him, so that's what happens? She just looked at us and said, not exactly. She put up with more shit. I can't tell you. The Westerners were so crazy. And all she did was love us. She never... One time we were going to Badrinath, which is way up in the mountains. And it was at the end of the season. There were only like a few days left before they close it for the winter. And we were in the room with her. And she's telling us, now, it's a very dangerous drive. I want you to redo the Hanuman Chalisa all the way. Never mind, you're covered. I could just see Maharaj saying, leave them alone, they're covered, you know. She just went, okay, never mind, you're covered. So here's another story. So she told me, I had never been there before. She said, out in front of the temple, there's a kund, a pond. It's like a hot, very hot pool. And it's very hot. It's almost boiling hot, which I didn't know. And she told me I should take bath there. So we went to the temple and had darshan, and we came out of the temple, and I went over there, and I put my finger, So I did what they call a Ganga snan, a Ganga bath. I took some water and I sprinkled it on my wrist. I've had my bath, thank you. And then I went to sleep. That night I went to sleep. I didn't tell anybody anything about it. We come back to Kenchi. Oh, and so that night, I had this incredible dream. I was sitting at the edge of the kund with my feet dangling in the water, and Ma was swimming around in the water. And she swam over to me, and she started washing me like a kid, like I was a little kid. It was so sweet, so beautiful. I never told anybody about the dream. We went back to Kenchi, and I'm in the back of the temple with her, hanging out, and she sent one of the women to get something from the room inside. The woman comes out with a bottle of water. She says, "Give it to Krishna Das. This is the water he was bathed with in Badrinath." Get it? Okay. Yeah, I mean, she was extraordinary. But she didn't want to be talked about. She didn't want people going there. So even today, it's hard to talk about her for me. Because for 30 years or more, I just shut it down in terms of in public, I have that bottle of water.
Namaste. Thank you for not drowning in the 6 inches river in Kashi. I often say Krishna Das has saved my life many times. I first saw you in 1996 at Master Yoga Academy, and that doesn't make me any different than somebody who is here for the first time. But you got me through divorce, you got me through a lot of suicidal thoughts, you got me through my mom dying, my dad dying, and I want to thank you because the bhavana and the vibration of your voice does something to my heart chakra. And when I go into my story and when I, have the ego to go through the negative and chatter, I place either the iPod or iPhone on my chest, and it's often in the middle of the night. Has been 1,000 nights in the past 25, 30 years, and I don't know if I would make it to this moment without you chanting and me chanting along with you and everybody else. I do have a question though. You say everything is accomplished by chanting the name.
I didn't say that. He said that.
He said that. So you're munching on the Ricola all the time. I wonder, what would you be without your Ricolas? And if
I'd have a lot more money and my dentist would have a lot less.
Okay, well, did Neem Karoli Baba, and I was blessed to be in, Kashi and his bedroom and other temples, but did he ever spoke about supreme detachment?
He is supreme detachment, yeah.
He is supreme detachment.
Supreme detachment is supreme attachment to the one. In other words, he didn't really give a lot of kind of teachings. Of course, he would say things, you want the chai? Don't take it. That's too advanced. We want to take it. So he gave up that kind of teaching for us. But detachment, let's become attached to the good stuff, the stuff that lasts, the real stuff. And then naturally, the stuff that, the other stuff will fall away naturally. I don't think you can't, unless you're ripe, you can't peel your skin off. A fruit has to be ripe. And you can't rip things away. But when we get in touch with the real love and we begin to feel what might be possible in life, then the other stuff, the volume gets turned down a little bit of that stuff. So, for me, I'm not good at detachment. I'm attached, and that's the deal. But I'm also attached to other things which are deeper. So, as the years have gone by, those things have gone, they don't mean that much to me anymore. These days, basically all I want to do is chant with people. And but this carcass is getting a little older. Somebody's going to have to carry me around soon. But still, I could do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very, very much. Grazie mille.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, Katie. My question revolves around surrender. How do we make sure that this surrender is coming from the faith, but not from the escapism from the reality?
You don't. Next question. Surrender happens by grace. We're not going to surrender. Our egos are never going to surrender. They're going to find all kinds of ways of maintaining this sense of a separate self, of being separate from everything. And like Ramana Maharshi said, asking the mind or the ego to kill the mind or ego is like asking the thief to be the policeman. There'll be a lot of investigation, but no arrest will ever be made. So once again, we turn towards that place inside that's more real than all the other stuff, and we gradually move towards that place, and the other stuff falls away. And basically what they say is you purify your heart, purify your mind, and wait for grace. So, you know, Maharaj used to tease us. Actually, he used to torture us. He used to say, I have the keys to the mind. I could turn your minds against me. Ha, 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 ha. And we thought, oh, Jesus, we'll wake up one day and go like, what am I doing in India? I'm going to go back to New York. Which is what happened. But anyhow, so I once said to Sydney Ma, I said, Ma, Maharaji said he has the keys to the mind, which to me means that I am where he put me, where he has put me right now. This is it. This is where he wants me to be. So, is my effort required, or is it just all his grace? She said, it's all grace, but you have to act like it isn't. That's just so incredible. It's all grace. Ultimate reality, nothing ever happened, there's no one, there's only one. But this is another place. This is relative reality, where you think you're you and I think I'm me. So we are fucked, so to speak. So in that reality, we have a lot of work to do. And then maybe someday surrender will show up. But we have to do the work because we think we have to do the work. Hi.
Hi, Ram Ram. I'm Shiva. I'm 15 years old. Okay. And I'm trying to practice spirituality, right? But throughout my spiritual journey, I've made a lot of mistakes. Like, I've made oaths to Maharaj and I've broken them. So I feel like I've lost connection with Maharaj and God, and I don't know if he'll forgive me or not, because I feel like I've made a lot of mistakes, and how can I reconnect with Maharaj again?
You haven't made any mistakes. And besides that, he doesn't give a shit. You do. That's the mistake. He doesn't care. He knows who you are. He's always with you. It's just your mind that's eating you up. That's your work. Get over it. That's all. Who cares? Fuck up again and again. The more you fuck up, the better it is. Get it out of your system.
Thank you.
Don't worry. He would say, "Theek ho jayega." Bas. That's it. No problem. Just don't let your mind eat you up. And if it does eat you up, make sure it spits you out so you can do it again.
Thank you so
okay?
much.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Practice not letting yourself be so hard on yourself. See where that comes from, okay? Where does that come from? Look at it. No, look at it. No, there's no easy answer. Just keep looking. Say, where do these feelings come from? And why do I believe them? Isn't it weird we believe everything we think? That's fucking craziness. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, big guy, lay it on me.
How you doing? Thanks for coming out. My question is, do you have any advice on building a relationship with Hanuman?
I'm sorry, is what?
Do you have any advice on building a relationship with Hanuman and deepening it?
Advice?
Yeah.
You're crazy, asking me for advice? Let me see. You know, there's a line in that prayer I sing at the beginning of every kirtan. Right now I can't remember it. It's in there somewhere, but it's almost like a visualization of Hanumanji. He said he sits at the foot of this tree called the Parijata tree, eyes filled with tears of love for Ram. Okay? That's his natural state. And at the same time, whenever there's something to do, he does it. But when I read that, it was really important for me when I read that. It really struck me. Because, and another thing, so there's a place in Chitrakoot, which is where, Ram, Sita, and Lakshman spent a long time. It's up on Hanumandhara, which is this hill, Hanuman's hill. And it's called Sita Rasoi, Sita's kitchen. And there's a spring there. And one time Maharaji was up there with Dada. And he said, Dada, after burning Lanka, Hanumanji came here and he pounded the mountain and the spring came out. He came here to cool off, to calm down, he said, because he had just burnt Lanka. His whole body was, But then quietly, kind of to himself, he said, but Hanumanji was always at peace, even burning Lanka. So this is the secret about Hanumanji. He always was with Ram. He's always one with Ram. Never fooled by separateness at all. No idea of a separate self. And yet he acted completely and fully and successfully everything he did. So just think about that and do Hanuman Chalisa.
Thank you.
Hi, KD, how are you?
I don't know.
So, KD, I have two questions for you. One is like when Maharaji left his body in 1973 and you were not there at his last rites. So do you feel regret that you didn't get a chance to meet him for the last time? And second is for all those of us who feel connected to Maharaji through talking to his pictures, keeping his pictures as a wallpaper, or keeping his pictures in the where we work, like desk, etc. So we feel connected to him by talking to his picture. Do you do the same, or he has given you any secret to talk to him directly?
If it was a secret, you think I'm going to fucking tell you? I told you I'm cranky today. I had this dream once. I was in this, some kind of lecture, and there was this woman psychologist giving this lecture. And I'm sitting in the back like, what the fuck does she know? Like this, And all of a sudden Maharaji's standing there and looks at me and he says, she talks to me and I don't give her anything. I give you everything and you never talk to me. I still don't talk to him much. He said, when you think of me, I'm there. It's that simple. It's just too simple. We think we're separate. We think we are who we think we are, but he knows what the reality is. He's not a separate being. He's the indwelling presence in all beings, of which there's only one of. So from his point of view, there's no problem. The problems are on our side, our minds, our thoughts, our emotions, all the stories we believe about ourselves. So that's our work, just to clean that stuff up. And I did see him for the last time I saw him. And he told me, you know, he didn't tell people what to do much. I mean, he would tell you at times if he needed to save you from something. But he didn't really tell, like he never told me to go forth and multiply, you know. Yeah. He didn't tell me to go sing with people. He told me to do what I wanted to do. And unfortunately, this is that. How horrible. This is that. It sounds like an alarm clock. Hi.
Jai Hanuman. Can you describe in words when you first met Babaji in his physical body, and has he ever told anything about why are we all here? Why is there, if everything is one, why is there misery and sufferings all around?
Is there?
Yes.
Oh. It's our minds that are creating the suffering. What we see in the world today is the minds of all of us. The minds and the emotions. The anger, the fear, the grief, the selfishness, shame. This is what's creating the world as it is right now. People identified with negative emotions. That's us. There's a lot of good things in the world too, because there's a lot of people who are trying to become more harmonious with life, trying to serve others, trying to develop kindness and compassion. But he didn't speak about those things much. Although, someone once, there's a story in Divine Reality, the book Divine Reality, where somebody came to Maharaji, some devotee, said, Baba, the world's in such bad shape. This is like in the 60s. Really? The world's in such bad shape. I wish there was a king like Janaka, you know, King Janaka, Sita's father, who was a Raja Rishi, an enlightened king. He said, I wish there was a king like Janaka who could take care of the world. Maharaji said, there is a king, much greater than Janaka. And if it has to go this way, let it go. Brutal from our point of view, but you know, it's cycles, they say. And the sun comes up and goes down every day. So, what are you going to do? We do the best we can. That's what we're going to do. And that's all we can do. But we should try to do the best we can.
Thank you for being here. I would like to ask you about your chanting and music making with Tulku Sheridor and what surprised you or delighted you interacting with another musician but from a different tradition, and what some of your takeaways for that in collaborating without collapsing it from both traditions.
I don't think about it that way. He's a good friend and a very deep practitioner. I respect his wisdom and awareness very much, so I always like to hang around with him. And he likes to sing, so let him sing. What do I care? More than that, there's nothing to say. Just he can be really, really fierce sometimes, which I love. He wrote a book, what is it called? A Path Strewn with Bones and Ashes. You know, who wants to read a book like that? but it's really good. So he's great. He's in Kathmandu now, making a whole beautiful center for his guru, Kusum Ringpa. Really beautiful. You know, what do you expect from a Jewish lawyer from Montreal? He sings good for a Jewish lawyer from Montreal. I love him very much. He and Surya are really close friends of mine. Jewish lamas. What are you going to do?
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Please visit krishnadas.com to stay connected through our digital library, where you'll find an extensive catalog of podcasts, workshops, and music, including online courses, performances, conversations, and more. This podcast has been brought to you through the efforts of the Kirtan Wallah Foundation. For more information, please visit kirtanwallahfoundation.org.